Hi there, I'm Kathy Barker from Software Solutions, and we're looking at creating reports and visuals in Power BI. In this in-stock report page that we created a table simply by dragging two fields from our fields pane onto the report canvas. Now, if I click on this visual, which is our table, and I look at the column headings, sometimes the column headings aren't very nice. And so instead of category name, I really just want to see the word category. Over here in the visualizations, and particularly the build visual section of the visualizations pane, is the category name. Now what we often do is right click one of these fields and we choose to rename for this visual. So I'm going to rename it category. Now when I rest on it, it still tells me that it's actually category name and it actually comes from the query called dim categories. But now I've renamed it so it's category and it appears more succinct in my table. Now sum of units in stock is pretty ugly as well, so I want to see total in stock. So I right click this particular field and I rename it for this visual, and I'm just going to call it total in stock. Again, if I rest on the field, I can see that it's actually the sum of the units in stock field, which comes from the query called dim products. But I've renamed it in stock, and now that's what appears in my table. So make things look nicer by renaming them in the visual. Now also, if you wanted to format the look of the visual, you could just go to the format your visual, style presets, and as we mentioned in an earlier video, there's different types of styles in here. And if you're wondering what I have chosen, I've chosen condensed. Okay. Now the other thing you can do is you can sort a table. So for example, I want to sort this table by units in stock, showing the category that has the most units in stock at the top. Let me just zoom in so you can see better. So if I was to click on this column heading, I would actually sort in descending order. So I've gone from 701 to 100. If I click the column heading again, I've now sorted in ascending order from smallest to largest. So if you ever want to sort a column in a table, either by category name in ascending order or descending order, just simply click on the column heading. And so I'm clicking on it so that 701 is at the top and my table is sorted in descending order. That's why the triangle is pointing downwards, and I've sorted it. I can also choose this option and tell it to sort by whichever field I choose and in descending or ascending order. So that's another way to sort as well. Okay, so we've got our table sorted. Now what I want to bring into the mix is something called conditional formatting. Now this may be a term that you're used to hearing when you work with Excel spreadsheets, where you want to apply icon sets or color to alert people to highs and lows, etc. In this particular case, I want to make sure that we don't really keep any more than 100 to 500 units of stock in stock. Once we exceed 500 units of a particular category, we're actually holding too much stock. And once we hold less than 100 units, then we've got too little stock in stock. So I want to sort of be alerted to the fact that if there's any category that has more than 500 or less than 100, then a flag shows. Otherwise, we're okay. And so you can achieve this by going to conditional formatting. So what I want to do is I want to go to my format visual aids here, and I'm going to go to cell elements, and I'm going to go from here to units in stock or total in stock. And from here, I want to go and turn on my icons. Once I turn on my icons, immediately the conditional formatting appears. But I haven't had the opportunity to say on what basis a green circle appears or a red diamond appears. So now I need to get into this button here to apply my conditional formatting and customize my conditional formatting. So what I'm saying here is that if we have any unit that is greater than or equal to minus, say, 1,000, I can't see it getting any lower than that, and less than or equal to 100, then I want to see a red flag. But when a value is, and these actually should be numbers, number, because we're not dealing in percentages. So you've got to customize it to achieve what you want to achieve. But when a value is greater than or equal to 100, and let's actually say greater than, not greater than equal to, because that's encompassed here. So when a value is greater than 100 and less than 500, then that's good. That's the range we want to stay in. So I'm actually going to give that a green tick. But when we are greater than or equal to 500, and say less than equal to 1,000, because we're never going to exceed 1,000, then again we need a red flag. So you can completely customize your conditional formatting to achieve what you want to achieve. And I'm basically saying give them a green tick if the units in stock stay within that 100 to 500 range. If it goes below 100 or above 500, then I want to see a red flag. We're starting to keep too few, too little, or too much in stock. And I'll go, okay. And so you can see these ones have got a green tick because they're acceptable. This one's getting a little low, and these are getting a little high. So that's an example of conditional formatting. You'll find it on the Format Visuals task pane under the cell elements. It's a matter of turning on the icons or data bars or font color or background, and then getting into this particular button and looking at and customizing on what basis things are colored or have a particular symbol. And I can close the cell contents. So those are tables. If you ever want to zoom in a table, of course, we just zoom in by using the mouse. But if you want to zoom in another way, I need you to be aware that this button here is called focus mode. And so if there's a lot of visuals on this page and you just want to focus in on one of them, then that's what this button does. It just focuses in on the one visual, not all the other things on the page, and then you can go back to the report. So if you ever hit this one by accident otherwise, let me just zoom in there, then you'll go into focus mode and then back out again. Really handy. All right, let's save our Power BI file, and that's tables pretty much. So when we come back, we'll have a look at matrices. Please join us for the next video.